has this been a bad offseason? I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Am I in blue sky mode again? Have I missed it? I'm trying to figure out. And again, like Ricky Pearsall got hurt, that's fair. That affects the team. And if you are worried about injury, either because of the names that are currently on the sort of shelf or just in general, the same way you would worry about the Warriors, where you're like, well, they're all old, Bob, so I don't know how they're going to do this. I think those are totally fair takes. But can someone give me something tangible that happened this offseason outside of Ricky Pearsall that is like, ooh, that happened this offseason, and that is very bad for the 49ers record this year? I don't see it. Can you see it?
I don't really see it outside of, there's Ricky Pearsall, and then there's the questions about all of the little, tightness, and, Evans has the quad, and now he's got the groin, and then there's this. And the other piece is, George Kittle, he's working like heck to come back, and the Brian Baldinger sound from earlier today was great on that, where he's like, it could be modern medicine, but he hasn't really, heard of this being something that actually happens in this time frame. And then the other one is Nick Bosa with the 2 ACL repairs on the same knee. Again, for me, that is under the file of the worry wart part of it, because football players, they play and they also get hurt. And so I'm not that worried. If Kittle feels like he can pad up and practice, well, he knows more about his Achilles than I do. And Nick Bosa kind of on a similar trajectory.
Like I share what everybody says about how, like, sports, especially football, it's a young man's game. So do the 49ers need an injection of youth? Sure, you can make that case. I guess my response to that would be, don't you see it? You don't see it? Like, we're not talking about Dejon Stribling and Kalen Black? Or is that not an infusion of youth on the old offense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and Baldy talked about Ephesians Pricesock as another guy that people are high on. And, he was actually made great comments about juice. When you have young players, they provide that juice to the team. And I love that.
Yeah, they compete. Right. By the way, I'll tell you this, Dejon Stribling was wearing a blue non-contact jersey at practice today.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, he hasn't.
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to play into the bit.
But there were a few of the young defensive backs who weren't quite paying attention. They were not really following the rule. So, and I think that's what you're talking about. And maybe you see that as not a good thing, but that's the juice. Like, there is a fire out there, because when you get to the week 3 and week 4 and week 5 of camp, and you're 33 and you've done this 12 times, you're freaking over it. You want to know who's over it? All those reporters that I went and stood next to. They're like, okay. Well, you know
At
what
least
I mean?
It's not that hot this year.
I mean, it was, yeah. And they set us up in the shade today, which was wonderful. But they've been doing this for years, and they're like, great, we get it. It's August 20-something. Let's get to the games. And I'm sure the veterans feel that way too. But yeah, there's an infusion of youth. And there's some people who are probably really excited to be there. Grandy, you'll love this. Do you know who I thought also looked good today? And is, quite frankly, maybe a little bit bigger than I thought he was?
Who's that?
Jordan James. Back on the practice field today. He looked really good.
Okay.
Ribs recovered?
Him, Black, Christian, all in a normal running back, healthy rotation. Carrying the ball, catching the ball, running, smiling with one another. Saw Christian and Black pull one another aside at one point, and Christian was he was clearly talking shop with him because he's doing I can't hear what they're saying because they're 40 yards away, but Christian's kind of giving him the whole this is how you, wah, and you got to and you give him the shoulder shake, and they were talking shop, and it's fun. It's fun to see that 30-year-old running back and then the rookie next to each other, talking it all out. So I guess that's what I'd say. If someone's point is that the 49ers should have cut Kittle, Bosa, and Trent Williams this year, okay. But I don't see it that way, and this is kind of along those lines. So yesterday on Colin Cowherd's show on Fox, he said this, and this is kind of related to what we're talking about.
I tend to think the Niners are very close to pulling a Thelma and Louise and driving off the cliff here. I really do. For a lot of reasons. The Seahawks and the Rams have drafted so brilliantly over the last 3 years, very few misses, that the Niners, those are 4 games. The Niners go in as an underdog. Those are young. And remember, young players get hurt less than old guys. And when they get hurt, they recover more quickly. So the Niners this season are, and whether you like Brock Purdy or not, and he's clearly an NFL starting quarterback, they are really dependent on 5 older players. Trent Williams, left tackle, he's 38. Kittle, going to be a Hall of Famer off surgery. Nick Bosa coming off his 2nd surgery. Christian McCaffrey led the NFL in touches. Mike Evans, who is often banged up, though I love him. And Fred Warner off a surgery as well. I think Fred will be fine. First big surgery for him. So don't forget their last 2 first-round picks. Ricky Pearsall out for the year injured. I mean, it's an epidemic every year with the Niners. And Mikael Williams, who is a great young talent, he's banged up and won't be there for week 1. That's against the Rams in Australia.
He makes plenty of valid points.
Does he?
I think so. I didn't say they were all valid, but there are plenty of valid points in there.
Next time you play a Colin Cowherd cut, give me some time to stretch my neck. There's a lot of head shaking.
Fire away.
Mike Evans is oft injured. No, Colin, go to his Pro Football Reference where, last year he played 8. Before that, it was 14, 17, 15, 16, 16, 13, 16, 15, 16, 15, 15.
Okay, so what if someone...
That is not oft injured.
It's not, but what if somebody says, like, he's had apparently 3 nagging injuries already this camp?
Okay, nagging injuries. What has he missed? I'll wait.
Nothing. Well,
exactly.
Some practice.
We're talking about practice.
He hasn't played in any games.
Right, he hasn't missed any games.
Not in practice.
Well, in theory, the starters were all playing against the Chargers, and he did.
Well, Trent didn't play, right?
Trent's 38.
Right, and Mike Evans is 33? Coming up on it?
Yeah. That's very different than 38.
Yeah, he just turned 33.
Mike Evans will not be playing when he's 38.
Mike Evans turns 33 4 days ago.
Oh, happy
Shout
birthday.
out Leo's.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he didn't play that day because, he's all full of cake, and apparently he was nursing some injury. Colin Cowherd, he does what he does, and he's so good at it.
He's very good at it.
He trolls certain teams, and you actually taught me this many years ago. Like, back in the day, it was LeBron, and it was Aaron Rodgers, and it was one other...
Baker Mayfield.
He has his little pet things that he goes after.
The show is about 7 different people.
And this is one of the ones, and so... get some facts and come back and see me. When it comes to Mike Evans, you're wrong.
No, this is great because I've tried for a long time to try to stress this to 49er fans. You should take all of this as a compliment. There's a reason that the national media talks so much about the 49ers. It's because it's a massive fan base and it rates. Okay? And he knows exactly what he's doing. Like Brock Purdy will be fine because he's clearly a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a starter, is he?
I'm not insulting Brock Purdy.
But yes, you are. Because he's not a starter. He is a starter the same way Josh Allen is a starter. But to say...
I'm the Brock Purdy of the Willard and Dibbs experience.
Also true. But if you're going to just say, that's my one sentence about Brock Purdy. He's a starter in the NFL. Okay, you just Kyler Murray'd him, basically, is what you just did. Okay? He's Kyler Murray. He's Tyler Shuck. Who else? Do you know what I mean? Deshaun Watson is a starter in this league.
Right.
Apparently. Geno Smith is a starter in this league. So that's not, I don't think that's a good claim about Brock Purdy. He's definitely a top half, an upper echelon quarterback in the National Football League. Now, the parts that he's talking about with regard to is too much being relied upon by older players. I think there's a real conversation there. I do. So he has some points, and they're not just old. A lot of them are coming off of surgery. So if you want to be concerned about that, you can. Does that up the likelihood? Yeah, it probably does. At the same time, this guarantees nothing, and I don't, what I think is the overstated deal is, well, the 49ers are about to Thelma and Louise this thing.
Right.
Let's go
We're gonna
back.
drive off the cliff.
Yeah, let's go back to the other room. Do you understand the reference? The Thelma and Louise reference. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. You do?
Yeah.
You
Let's
sure?
go to Broadcaster's Pathway.
You sound like Joe Biden right now. Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a buddy film. A couple of ladies
Pasta?
on the
I
land.
mean, I know the general story.
You do?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Pasta, do you get it?
No idea.
Okay. Thelma and Louise. It was a movie.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, it ends with these two ladies driving the car off the cliff.
Brad Pitt with a sneaky elite role in a supporting actor spot. He's awesome in that.
It's got a few of those.
Right. So Thelma coerces Louise to go on the lam, and by the end of it, it doesn't go good. She's got a hamstring, and Thelma's got the hammy, and Louise has got tightness.
Got a hammy.
Yeah. And, boy, one of them's on the pup, and so they decide we're just going to drive off the cliff.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you're Kyle Shanahan and stuff.
That is
nonsense.
That is an incredible overstatement of the situation.
You know what it is, right?
What?
It's an over-exaggeration sensation.
That's a buck. And it might be two.
Because it's a debut.
It's just the longest word ever that we've done it with.
Right.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station, the home of the Golden State Warriors and Valkyries, ours live in the free Odyssey app, coming live from Laughing Mike Studios. Look, this is fun for people. You can make the prediction that things will go poorly, and you might be right. And then you can victory lap if you want. I'm not really even in that space because I'm not sitting here telling you that the Niners will be amazeballs this year. I think there's a chance, but life has to unfold. The journey has to happen. Things could go well. Things could go poorly. Are they more talented than most? Yes. Yes, I think that they're more talented than most. Not the most talented. So for all of those teams, things need to go a certain way. I'm more sort of like, let's not be so predictive about it, because then people's negativity and positivity sort of overwhelms the scenario. You know what I mean? Guru and I always think they're going 17-0. I don't know why they would lose. Why would they lose a game?
Right.
Okay? Now, other people, the Mopey Donkey crew,
there it is.
always thinks that it's going to go very, very poorly. But can we just focus for a minute on where we are? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why do so many people think it's bad now? Like a bunch of bad stuff has happened to the Niners. And every time we have this conversation, I have the same thought, and I always bring it to you, and I got to figure out how to get through this. I have not been able to call my parents in the last 2 months without them going, boy, everything just sounds like it's going horrible for the Niners. I'm like, what are you? Get off Facebook.
Facebook.
What are you doing? What are we talking about? What happened? What happened? I don't know what happened.
McCaffrey's got tightness,
But
Mark.
he doesn't, though.
And I love Tom on one phone.
Oh, my God.
And Ellen's on the other, and they're just on the landline shouting at each other and shouting at you, like over things that are mostly unfounded. And I get that. And this is where you and I are probably too aligned to get into this topic, because nothing has actually happened. Nothing has happened. You've played 2 preseason games, and the first one was, all right, you didn't look good with your 2s and your 3s, and then you played some of your starters, and boy, you look great. So now you're a Super Bowl contender? I don't know.